2017, which among other things said that the KDHE understands the city will utilize the KDHE loan, interest loans to finance the construction of alternate 2 upgrade water waste treatment facilities. Of course, I asked Jack if he knew anything about the arrangement as the city commissioner. He told me he did not. I reviewed both minutes and the newspaper stories to see if there was anything that was discussed at an open city commission meeting. On May 12, 2015, the city commission meeting approved an ordinance 4454 and 4455 and authorized 2 KDHE loans. The first one of the engineering administration cost for the wastewater treatment plan of $2,985,000 and the second one for construction loan of $26,643.80. Since that time period, I could find nothing discussed in an open city commission meeting about rejecting the KDHE construction loan or entering into an OMU with National Beef for treatment plant, which cost is now almost $58 million. I could not find anything where the city commission authorized Dave Harrison, who is neither mayor or neither vice mayor, to sign the MOU as a representative of the city. So I simply questioned for the city commission, a simple question for the city commission: what the heck is going on? If plans for the water waste treatment plan have changed, why has that not been discussed during a commission meeting where the vote that vindicates Ordinance 4454 and 4455? If the city is entering into an OMU, which is in essence a contract with National Beef on the construction of the plant, why wasn't it discussed and approved in an open commission meeting? For this is being done behind closed doors. Then not all the commissioners are involved. So exactly who's making these plans? The 3 individuals directly involved in the MOU are the copies of correspondence that I received: our city manager, Mark Hall, Director of Finance, Chris Ford, and Commissioner Dave Harrison. What do the rest of the commissioners know about this? The Kansas Open Meeting Act is very clear that people have the right to know public business, and the binding actions cannot be taken during a closed session. A contract or MOU is binding action. The issue is not the merits of the OMU and whether or not it is a good deal for the city. The issue is that the decisions are apparently made that supersede the authority of the city commission and commit the city of Liberal to plans and costs that have been openly discussed or duly voted on their election representatives. The citizens of Liberal have the right to know about what's going on and deserve an explanation. I have copies of everything. I will make them available to the newspaper media and to my Facebook page. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
President, if you'll notice in the letter, from KDHE, it says that the city will not utilize the KDHE loan. It is one of those, the MOU was a requirement that both parties are committed to this. We are not doing the engineering, and if you'll read on that it does sit there and explain that the engineering for the plant is due, which is 30% in August 15th. It is one of those, the commission will make a decision on this in the future that will bind the city. But as far as these are preliminary discussions with KDHE directly with National Beef, there has been no commitment by the city as far as funds or representation in the future. This is where National Beef is presenting to KDHE with the consent of the city of Liberal a combined treatment facility. The MOU outlines that in that combined treatment facility, they are willing to pay 70% of the total cost. The city would bear 30%, but that cannot be done until the city commission is presented the plant and the drawings for the future, which they will make a decision in public to go forward or not. This is a letter to KDHE. It's not about, the city has had meetings with staff and theirs. Commissioner Harrison has been involved because of the understanding of the treatment facility since for 8 years, 9 years?
Yeah,
9 years. This didn't start overnight. It is a long process. Cal understands what's going on, is that this determination of the plant will be sometime down the road. Roughly 9 months from August 15th, their engineering will be due, and that will be a decision by KDHE whether this plant can do what it is required to do. So as far as any commitment by the city in binding, that has not been done and will not be done until the commission is ready to approve the project.
Well, and furthermore, it can't be done unless it's done by the whole commission.
Joe, did you know about this?
I know Commissioner Harrison has been involved since his early inception since 2007, and we all know, as we've discussed, that talks have been ongoing with KDHE and National Beef for quite some time.
See, I haven't though. Y'all don't need to want to tell me shit,
No,
because
I will remind Commissioner Carlisle to please refrain from using foul language.
you know,
But yes,
2 years
you
ago,
have-
no, 2
you
years
have
ago, we
been
approved
involved in discussions
of not national beef, involved in discussion of setting our own plant up.
exactly.
Okay, after that, no discussion has come. I asked 2 months ago, what is going on with the wastewater treatment plant? City manager said National Beef has to put their deal into KDHE. Not once was it said we was going together. Now, y'all want to have your
That was
city
explained.
commit? No, it was not, Mark.
It's a combined plant. That is theirs. We still have a single plant to KDHE. presented to
Nobody knows
KDHE.
exactly what's going to happen at all yet because we haven't approved anything. Jay.
National Beef requested that they be allowed to submit a combined plan. The city said that they would accept that to KDHE. There is no plant that is completed plan, engineering drawings or anything, and that's indicated in this letter. So there is no negotiation as far as to the commission. They do not have final drawings of what this plant's going to be. They have a theory of how to treat that water in the future. And working with National Beef is in response because we have 80% of a single plant completed. The National Beef requested that they be allowed to submit to KDHE a combined plant. That's what's being done. We do not have the engineering. That is paid for by their engineering, and we are sitting there with the understanding of KDHE that if their plant, their concept, does not meet KDHE's requirements, then we go forward with a plant that we have already done. That's what we've allowed with National Beef. You have been notified that we went from a single plant pre-treatment to a combined plant. That you have been notified.
When?
That was, it was
When?
over, I'd say probably 6-7 months ago.
No. I mean,
Well, Commissioner, that has been. And these people are aware that they went from a single plant to a combined plant. That's totally National Beef's request to be able to combine. them.
okay, so in the first,
I'm not sure I understand what your complaint is because nothing's happened other than I signed a memorandum of understanding allowing National Beef to present their idea to KDHE.
because I think the memorandum should have been in front of the city commission and approval.
For what reason?
Because it's contract.
It's not.
It's not a contract.
This was a request by KDHE to come up with saying that is there funding for a plant that could cost $65 million? That's all it was. KDH asked that the two parties have an understanding that the finance would be worked on. If you would like to have KDH here, we can call them. But this is a non-binding. This was a request by KDHE that both parties understand the commitment of money to this. The city will not commit any more than 30%. It is one of those, we don't even have a design and do not have an engineer's estimate. You have to have a design to get that. So with no design, this is a best guess what they think this is going to be, and KDHE wants to know is, are you willing to come up with that much money? The city, based on these figures, would come up with $18,000 $18 million. And out of that, we're also getting $13 million of reconstruction of the ponds and brine ponds cleaned up and taken care of. So the city, which was estimated at the low of approximately 22 million in that, plus the 6, and you were there when you approved the rate study.
Yes.
The rate study is sitting there saying we are not, and as it says there, we are not going to use their loan. The only time we will use their loan is if this falls apart with National Beef, because that money's reserved for the city. It is one of those that this going forward is nobody has the engineering. This is a requirement that says, hey, they want the MOU, and they also wanted to sit there and from them, not from us, because we're not the engineering on this, 30% of the engineering.
Did we not pay Earl's Engineering to engineer a plan?
That's for our own plant. And that's the one that I indicated, that KDHE is aware, 80% of the engineering's done. That's why the city is not paying a dime for this engineering of a combined plant. It is one of those, and that's is, and the commissioners can, you get the emails just like they do. And it is one of those, I will go ahead and state, is you've already contested it, you don't, and every one of these commissioners see that you get the emails. This has been, and what this is working with KDHE. This is not, the commission has to vote, just like on the rate study, the loans, you will have to vote on it. You will have to vote on a contract that comes up between National Beef and the city. That will all be done in public. But it is right now, is trying to sit there and get engineering so there possibly can be a combined plant, which they are paying for. That's exactly what this letter says. And it is one of those that we will have, if you would like, Rod Geisler will be glad to sit there and explain it to the public or anybody. It is one of those, this is a situation that this is how it works, and nothing gets approved unless the city commission does it. That is, it's a part of it. But you can't sit there and none of us, only this commission, can obligate the city. So I hope that explained what the MOU, what this letter means, and it clearly states the city will not utilize the KDHE loan. The others talks about, if you look through there, is the engineer for National Beef is H.R. Green, Andrew Marsh. It explains that. It explains that page 10 presents a schedule of compliance. That is something that air engineering has to work towards.
Are there any other citizens that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? Please come forward, state your name and address in an audible tone for the record, please.
Rita Isaacs, 46 Princeton. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I tell you, I don't know what to say now. This is hot. It's a good thing all these candidates are in the audience here. They're going to have a good idea what's going on. They back out. Just a couple little things, really. I must say that Brad had Harrison Circle Park. So nice. We had a wedding there Saturday, and they were just thrilled to death, and I appreciate that. And have you heard anything more on Zito?
We have not, because you and the folks, it is now in the consumer's hands. And I printed you another 40 of those letters. So,
Thank you.
and the Attorney General will be in direct contact with the consumers that have filed the complaints.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So he should, once they receive, and they will look at these, I guarantee you that. They will look at those and let you know their decision. But the more that you present to them, the more they will, it'll grab their attention.
Right. Now, it hasn't been in the paper that we are now on the camera, so a lot of people didn't know that would be watching this. Okay, other than that, I appreciate that. On codes again. You came up with some pictures of that, 1,200 words, and that was everything he said, but I drove by again before I came here, and that is bad stuff. The only thing, the grass is taller, nothing's been done. Now, I've been complaining about across the street from me, now I know 3 years, but in that last storm, the siding blew off, the weeds are up over the mailbox. I mean, this is 3 times last week. Well, it turned out my code guy was out of town, and he did take care of that. But I still got all the cement. How long do we have to look at that? When the wind blows, you have to wait. I know we've been through this many, many times, and you've had your announcements in the paper. You've got a certain amount of time to comply.
What's the address, Rita, do you have? Kevin, do you know which property she's talking about?
Yeah, we've addressed that too. We talked to the property owner and he was to clean it up.
And how much time is he allowed by the city of?
Actually, it's an active construction site. He has until the construction permit's over, but he should keep it where the stuff don't blow around. So
Okay.
we should clean it up to make it look like a
Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Rita. Anyone else like to address the commission on non-agenda items? Again, state your name and address in an audible tone for the record.
Doug LaFreniere, 1111 Maple. And my cable sucked too, so I got the dish. We're all right now. What did they have? Shirley, how are you? Yeah, give me some shake. You doing all right?
Your clock is ticking,
Hey.
sir.
Gentlemen, you got to be big picture people. Misery loves company, and a lot of misery's been thrown at you people. I mean, good Lord, this was the most negative ever election I have ever seen in my whole year life living here. Dave, they did everything but throw dead kittens at you and blame you for their death. It was just.
Well, it's not over
atrocious.
yet. They still got time.
It's still going on. But you're good people. You did good things. You've got to be a good, broad picture person. And the big picture of liberal Kansas is it's growing, it's doing well, and a lot of it has to do with that man. Mark, you do good things. And I'm sorry you people have to go through this. Because I know, and I've served with a few of you, and I know you do everything that's best for the city's interest, the best with the ability you have. And just keep it up. You've done good. And when you leave this office, you leave here proud. You leave here with your head held high because you've done some great things. You do have some issues. You got some board members who are just toxic to the board. You shouldn't have that allowed. If they're making it miserable for other board members, get them out of there. It just poisons boards, and it doesn't make them easy to fill board positions when it's such a negative environment. But you did great things. You can still do great things. You got some problems, fix them. Fix them before you go. You know you can. Yeah, I understand, and I got a question for you. Big article about you weren't awarded any airport grants. How many grants did you apply for, city manager?
0.
You didn't apply for any.
No.
You didn't apply for any and you didn't get any.
No.
That was not in the article.
I understand that we cannot apply for grants when we have no projects.
So you don't have any projects.
Not any major
On
roadway
speculation.
projects at all.
Now, if I went to Sonic and asked for a foot-long coney, then they didn't bring me one, then I didn't get it. But if I stand there and don't ask for anything and don't get anything, how in the world does that even become a story? How can you? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all, but it was conveniently left out. And that's sad, you know, and publicly, I've never seen it this negative, you know? Fairness is out the window, it's agenda-driven. And we're better people than that. And I know you that serve, you're better people than that. I know you took the high road. Me, I wouldn't have had that much courage to do that. I'm swinging away, but I commend you for it. I really do. And good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, I'll ask again, anyone else want to address the commission on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to items from groups. Are there any groups in the audience that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Agenda item number 6, all items are considered to be routine by the City Commission will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a commission member or citizen so requests, at which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. We have 6A, which is acknowledgement of receipt of board minutes from the Louisville Convention and Tourism meeting on July 20th and the Housing Authority meeting on July 20th as well.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
A motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is update on ordinance 4457, parking in front yards, side yards, rear yards, and commercial industrial zone districts. Mr. Kirk.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Just an update, we are still working on that. This is quite an undertaking, actually, once you get into it. Been working with the legal counsel, making sure we're on the right track. I do believe you probably were sent a copy of on the email, just to let you know and show you the direction that I'm looking at going. There's still a lot of research to do, and I request a little more time. Maybe next meeting I'll have something to bring back.
I do like the direction you're going, okay? I do have one question, and I asked Shirley, okay? It says it shall be unlawful for any vehicle to drive across to another property not owned by the registered owner of the vehicle that has not been designated by the city of Louisville as a city street, city right-of-way, and alley or utility easement. You know, if you go up there in North Washington, everybody drives across Shannon Francis and Marvin Chance property going to Dillon's. I mean, you're talking about 300 cars a day breaking this ordinance, you know? I mean, what?
I mean, I'm not sure how you control that unless the property owner wants to put a fence up and.
Well, but as it states here, could be ticketed and fined for going across the.
Yeah, because that is private property through there in the
If
Village Plaza
Shannon-
area.
If it's private property, it is one of those, we will not issue a ticket unless we're asked to.
Exactly.
It's one
Okay.
of those that,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the direction you're going on. I understand where you're coming from. The first thing come to my mind was 300 cars going to Dillon's and south
But
every day.
should Mr. Francis want to invoke trespassing on his property, then we would go out there and assist in enforcing.
I appreciate what you had there,
Contact
Kevin.
me about that, and we'll work on that language. Okay?
Thanks, Kevin.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Kevin.
Since it is an agenda item, do we have a motion to table this till the next
I make a
meeting?
motion, we table it till next
Motion by
meeting.
Commissioner Carlisle, second by Vice Mayor Martinez. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Kevin, again, thank you. Like I said at the last meeting, take your time, let's get it right. So, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the 2018 budget. We will start with agenda item number 8A, which is a public hearing. I now declare the public hearing officially open. Have all the proper legal notices been filed? All right, I invite members of staff to testify on this matter before the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. For our public hearing tonight, I'd like to start off by saying that back on July 20th, we had a very fruitful work session for our 2018 budget. As you know, we are under a mill levy cap beginning this year, so there were some things that we're going to have to maybe do a little bit different this year. And I'll get to those in a minute, but basically I want to start out by saying that we published our notice of budget hearing in the High Plains Daily Leader and Times on July 28th, and this contains a proposed total budget amount of $41,796,000. And that is comprised of a mill levy dollar amount of $6,181,703 and an estimated mill levy amount of 51.789 mills, which is, that's based upon the July 1st estimated valuation received from the county. Want to say with this, the good news is our proposed 2018 budget, we are proposing a budget which, based upon the estimated valuation, equates to the same exact number of mills that were levied for in the 2017 budget. Now with that, saying this is based off an estimated valuation, as you're aware, July 1st, when the county does make their estimate, there sometimes are some different protests and things that have to be worked through, and therefore in November 1st, when the valuation is finalized, there could actually be some change to that valuation. But in effect, we would still be requesting a levy amount of $6,181,703. And I do want to state that with the 2018 valuation, we did have a slight increase in overall valuation, and this amount was over the 2017 assessed valuation. Therefore, an additional $64,979 would be generated based upon our proposed budget. So we are receiving some additional dollars. As a result of that, and to maintain compliance with the new state of Kansas mill levy cap law, we are required to adopt a resolution to express that we are levying additional mill levy dollars in 2018 above the mill levy dollars that were levied for in 2017. But again, I want to emphasize this is not a mill levy increase. This is as a result of the increase in valuation, the valuation amount per mill. So therefore, accordingly, I have prepared a resolution in your packet to address this to meet the state's mill levy cap law. And then in addition, should the budget be adopted, we will publish a summary of the budget adoption to include the vote summary, the requested property tax amount, and the mill levy amount in the paper once everything's said and done. Like I said, on July 20th, we had our work session. With that, it's been a very exciting budget year with regard to city commission, all the city staff, everybody's in line wanting to do good work, to maintain the quality and level of services that they provide at as minimal cost as possible. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does the commission have any questions for Chris on the proposed 2018 budget?
I don't got a question, but I got a statement. This is my third budget, and every year we've stayed within our budget or possibly lower. And the good news is we could even come in lower in November with the way things are growing. We're the 64,979. I hope that continues, and some of the new stuff that's coming in, which will make the taxpayers happy, I think. So
Yes.
I want to thank staff and you for making it easy for us.
I'd like to say the same thing, what Tony's saying. It's very, very impressive to see how it works when all the department heads put all of their figures together and come and make it to where we can understand it. And I know a lot of hard work goes into it. So we appreciate you and all the department heads and what they do to keep our costs down.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to say that we have a very good team. I mean, everybody understands the roles that they play, and that, if you can save a little bit here towards the overall big picture, we'll all be better off. And so, thank you, sir.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
Yes, I just would like to say, this is my 13th, I believe, budget, and 12th or 13th, I don't know, but the process from the Blue Bar paper has come a long way. Staff has done a tremendous job paring out the the wants, going with just the needs. In my time, I believe we have only begrudgingly raised the mills 2, maybe 3 outside. We have pared down 23 employees. But with the mill levy cap that the future commissions will have to deal with, as costs rise from healthcare to cost of services, this could create a problem. And I know the legislature is working. I don't think they will ever have the votes to rescind the mill levy cap. I do think they will make some exemptions to where it should ease the burden. But if this continues as it is right now, we could see services suffer in the city. Instead of trash collection twice a week, you could see it go down to once a week because we cannot raise and things without a vote of the people, which is not a bad thing, but it has tied the hands so much that services are going to end up suffering as the cost of living, as the cost of services continue to rise. So I know our staff that we currently have in place is very diligent in keeping costs down and only doing the best they can with the bare necessities. And you can't spend it if you don't have it. And a lot of times we do have carryover, and which is a good thing. So that is all that I have to say on that. Is there
Chris,
anybody else?
I have one more question. Does the mill cap, does that affect just the city or the
That affects the
college
county
and
as well.
County.
County?
All governmental
All
entities.
the governments.
County passed their budget last night with a just less than a 1 mill levy increase. Their budget is just a hair over $11 million for the county side. So, and we're at 6
With
point.
that mill lock, that doesn't stop us from raising, let's say, trash pickup. You know, we charge that on the water bill
Right.
now, and that doesn't stop us from doing that,
No.
does it?
Right, the mill levy cap applies to property taxes.
Property taxes, right. Personnel fall under property taxes, so. But anyway, anyone else would like to address this talk?
And you kind of touched on it there, Joe, but what happens so much of the time is you're mandated by the state, especially with the retirement plan that they have, to increase it. And if you're capped out, those dollars have to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make it tough.
I'd invite
Is it
anybody.
also true that we're responsible for the keepers that the state's not paying in?
That's mandated by the state statute. Once you're in, you can't get out unless there is legislation to do so, but now there isn't, and that goes for KPNF also.
That's the increase I'm talking about. They just call you up and say, we're increasing.
We got in at the KPNF, which is the Kansas Police and Fire, at 4%, and is now up to 21%. It was what we have to put in.
Roughly around 21.
21%, and that is
Little over
mandated. We
20.
cannot opt out of that unless the legislature passes a law saying we can. So we're at the mercy of the KPNF on that, which, yeah, sounded like a good idea at the time. That was before me, so. Anybody else, would the public, anyone else have would like to address on the budget?
A couple comments if I could.
Please.
I think the public needs to be reminded that we're kind of on the tail end of a recession. I don't think we're completely out of it yet. But for the past, I don't know how many years, we've gone through a serious recession. And during that time, the mill levy's been held tight, budget's been held tight. Each year, you guys congratulate and commend staff for the good work that they do and all that. But there's a lot of people out there that don't understand who is truly behind the success of this city. We've gone through this recession with probably the less minimal debt in comparison to other cities throughout the state. If you look at the numbers, our debt ratio is negligible compared to how other cities have survived this recession. We managed to maintain services throughout this recession, managed to maintain the budget and all that without increasing our debt ratio. And really, you can thank Mark Hall, our city manager, for that. And I appreciate your guys' comments about how much you thank staff. But really, we're working at the direction of the city manager. He's the one that's laid out the plan. He's the one that's developed the plan, he's the one that implements the plan at your guys' direction. So you guys need as much, you need to pat yourselves on the back as much as you pat us, because the direction you guys have provided, the direction Mark Hall's provided is really what's caused this city to survive through the recession. So we do appreciate your comments about staff, but you guys deserve just as much credit as well as Mark Hall does as well.
Anyone else want to testify or have a comment on this matter? If not, I declare the public hearing closed. All right, agenda item 8B is the resolution 2268, which expresses the property taxation policy of the City of Liberal for the 2018 budget. And this is what you were talking about because of the mill levy.
Yes, sir.
Cap. Yes.
Yeah, and this has to do with our receipt of additional property tax dollars above what was levied the prior year. It basically just states that the, well, if you'd like, I can read it, or?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. This resolution is a resolution expressing the property taxation policy of the City of Liberal governing body with respect to financing the annual budget for 2018. Whereas KSA 79-2925B, as amended, provides that the levy of property taxes to finance the 2018 budget of the City of Liberal exceeding the amount levied to finance the 2017 budget of the City of Liberal, as adjusted to reflect changes in the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers for the calendar year 2016, be authorized by a resolution adopted in advance of the adoption of a budget supported by such a levy. And whereas KSA 79-2925B, as amended, also provides that the current year revenue that is produced and attributable to the taxation of new improvements, increased personal property valuation other than increased valuation of oil and gas leaseholds and mobile homes, property located within added jurisdictional territory, and property which has changed in use shall not be considered when determining whether revenue produced from property taxes increased from the preceding year. And whereas City of Liberal provides essential services to its citizens, and whereas the cost of providing these services continues to increase, now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Liberal that a levy of property taxes in support of the 2018 budget exceeding the amount levied in 2017 as adjusted pursuant to KSA 79-2925B as amended is hereby approved. And, in a nutshell, that's all of that explanation is explaining that we are receiving, or we are requesting additional property tax revenues above what we requested in 2017 by that $69,000 number.
And that was due to the valuations being higher than what were estimated?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions for Chris on that? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept resolution on B 2268. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Expressing the property taxation policy of City of Liberal for 2018 budget.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Martinez, second by Commissioner Harrison. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 8C is Resolution 2269, which this is the adoption of the 2018 fiscal year budget.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This resolution has to do with consideration for adopting the 2018 fiscal year budget, approving the 2018 pay plan, and appropriating by fund the maximum amounts to be expended for the budget year 2018. And it basically states that the 2018 fiscal year City of Liberal, Kansas budget is hereby approved for submission to the State of Kansas Department of Administration and the County Clerk of Seward County, Kansas. The budget as approved with the County Clerk shall constitute and shall hereafter be declared to be an appropriation for each fund, and any appropriation of funds provided for by the resolution must comply with Chapter 70 of Article 29 of the Kansas statutes annotated. The funds for paying all claims against the 2018 fiscal year City of Liberal, Kansas budget, which are officially approved by the governing body of the City of Liberal, Kansas, are hereby appropriated out of the fiscal year 2018 funds to be received by the City of Liberal Director of Finance. The proposed 2018 pay plan is hereby approved, and the City Manager and Director of Human Resources are authorized to implement it effective January 1st, 2018. And this resolution would have to do with the formal adoption of our budget, and I would say that should this resolution be approved, there is a certificate page that we would request all commissioners to sign 3 copies of, and once it's approved, we'll get it underway and we'll get it submitted to the county and, be ready for 2018.
All right, any questions for Chris on the adoption of the 2018 fiscal year budget? Seeing none, call for a motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion to adopt resolution number 2269, adopting the 2018 fiscal year budget.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison, second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion on the budget? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chris. Next item is agenda item number 9, which is an addendum to the SRF loan administration contract with the Water Department. Chris, you've got this. I believe we just have a name change is basically all we're dealing with here with our financial consultants.
Yes, this item deals with the current loan agreement that we have with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for our water improvements. Our financial consultant has recently gone through a reorganization and has changed their name from Ranson Financial Consultants, LLC, to Ranson Financial Group, LLC. And basically, within their organization, they've had some different members of the LLC that have stepped in. Some of them have stepped out, and therefore they've created their new name. And in order to maintain compliance with our state revolving loan that we have with KDH&E for the water project, staff would recommend consideration of the commission to update our revolving loan administration contract to acknowledge the new name.
All right, any questions on this agenda item? Basically, it's a name change. Pretty simple.
Do we got to make a motion to approve that?
Yeah, we have to make a motion because it'll have to be changed on documents, won't it?
Yes, there's signature pages in the document.
Okay.
I was going to have her start signing.
Send it down? Joe, do I need to abstain from this?
I think the dean does not need to abstain. It's just a name change with Ranson Financial.
This is for the water department.
This is on the water department.
It's on the water police.
Make a motion, we approve the name change?
A motion by Commissioner Carlisle.
I'll second that.
Second by Vice Mayor Martinez. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chris. You get to sit down for a minute?
Thank you, Chris.
All right, next item on the agenda is Resolution 2267, which would establish the date and time for a public hearing for Rural Housing Incentive District on Jewel Street, Phase 1. You have to drop that down just a hair, Karen.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. If you're counting, this will be our 5th RHID application that we've had, and we've, done apartments at Village at the Plaza, Edwards Street, 2 for Zanali North, and this will be on Jewel Street. There is a development plan, a rough draft of it. If you set the hearing date and time, if you approve that, then we do send this to the college, the county, the planning board, and USD 480 to move it forward. And then they do have 30 days again after the public hearing to say whether they like it or not. So
And this is for 8 units, right, or 8 homes?
it'll be for 8 homes.
Right
There
now.
is 13 lots there. 5 of them will be sold to self-help, and they'll probably buy those directly from the developer.
Sounds good.
And just for the commission and the audience, the date and time of the resolution or the hearing would be September 26th, meeting at 5:30 PM.
Is that what we're doing, is making a motion to?
To set the date and time for the hearing. That's all we're doing here tonight.
Okay, is there,
Approve the resolution to set,
Approve the resolution to set
setting the
the,
hearing date and time.
yeah, I make a motion to approve the resolution setting the hearing for RHID Jewel Street Phase 1.
Second that.
And the motion should read September 26th, 5:30 PM?
Yeah.
Okay. We've had the motion by Commissioner Harrison with second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion? I just think it's exciting when we see all this growth and development with the new houses, 8 single-family dwellings. It's going to be an opportunity for families to get into some homes, so that's...
Good neighborhood.
And down in Jewel Street, that'll be good, so.
This is Mr. Chance's deal, right?
Yeah, Marvin
Yes,
Chance?
yes, that's Marvin.
So, all right, any further comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I believe you need to stay there, Karen, as we've got some senior citizen housing program updates for our liberal seniors.
We have exhausted funds for some of the programs this year, and we're requesting a transfer just from the builder incentive line item to the housing funds line item as presented. We've done a lot of exterior, we did a lot of trees this year for people, so I think that was a good program to have for our senior citizens. I would like to just make a short comment on, this is one of the programs pretty much asked for by Focus on the Future, and I do have a little sheet that I keep, and I can send it around to you, but it's a Focus on the Future request is what I keep at my desk. So when I was hired here, I was asked to do the programs requested by Focus on the Future, and that's what the city manager asked me to do, and the commission has always supported those programs, so I appreciate it. So I just want to hand that to you, and as if any questions arise.
Well, I think you've done a good job spreading the words because the money's being used, and the meetings I've gone to let senior citizens know or whoever it's out there available, and they're happy that this 1 cent sales tax it's helping.
I appreciate the commission supporting the programs. I help people every day that come in. We've done a lot this year for senior citizens, so the public should be aware.
It's always been our desire to make sure that we exhaust these funds as much as we can, and this is one way we can do it is by moving it around where it is needed. So I appreciate that, and I would make the motion to allow the senior citizen housing program update, changing of the line items as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Harrison, a second by Commissioner Aragon. I just would like to state that we're taking $35,000 from the builder's incentive, moving it to $20,000 to exterior repairs,
Yes.
$10,000 to emergency repairs, and $5,000 for weatherization.
Yes.
And those can be taken advantage of. There's guidelines that they need to fall in, and they can come to your office for, if they were told that there was no more money, they can now come and get those repairs before winter sets in.
Yes.
Is that going to be enough money?
I hope it is. They've been keeping me really busy this year, so I hope
And
it is.
it will start again in January, correct?
Yes, it does start over in
Okay.
January.
Yeah.
We do have people come back then.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
All right, next agenda item is the 2017 Tree Match Program and Tree Rebate Program. Mr. Beer.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, back in the spring, we did our spring tree order, and at that time, we did away with the rebate program and took that money and put it into the tree match program. And, you know, we were kind of limited on the trees we could get last year, or last spring. What we've done is we put together a list, and I'll pass this around if you want to look at it. Those are the 8 trees we're going to get. They're all 7-gallon size. We have bigger trees available if people want to get them, but we can't do it on the tree. You can't give a $180 tree for $25. So if people want to get bigger trees, we can get them for them if they let us know. The main issue is handling them again. You know, they have no way to handle those big trees. We've got Rita's trees taken care of for Harrison Circle. She's gonna get with Chris and take care of the funding on that. We're ordering 245 trees, and that's gonna take a lot of room to hold. Hopefully, when we put this out, I'm meeting with the newspaper in the morning to do a program on this for an article for the paper, and we get these sold. I mean, if we can sell above and beyond what we've pre-ordered, we'll order as much as the public wants to purchase. But we feel like this is a comfortable number. If we don't sell them, then, I mean, we don't want to stretch our neck out there too far where we have an extra 100 trees sitting around in the.
We got a lot of place we can put them though, if we do with the losses in the wintertime.
Yeah, but the problem is getting them put in before they die.
Oh, okay.
I mean, keeping them alive. You know, if we're sitting out there waiting to sell them.
Okay.
But we'll get this out and have people start doing their pre-orders, and we're looking about the end of September, 1st of October.
Into September 1st.
And again, these trees have been researched. They're hardy to this area, will grow and do well if properly taken care of. Autumn blaze, maple, royal white redbud, Oklahoma redbud, prairie fire, flowering crab, black gum, Chinese pistache, aristocrat pear, and the Cleveland select pear. We've used, I think, all of these varieties in the past.
The only one we haven't is the aristocrat, which is kind of between the pear, the Cleveland and the Bradford.
Okay.
And they didn't have any Bradfords for this order.
All right, and is there a limit to the number that one individual can buy?
Yeah, they can buy up to 4.
Up to 4, okay.
And it's for residents of the city of Liberal.
Okay, and like you said, if a citizen requests a larger, say a 25-gallon, they need to make.
If they get with us, we'll fix them up.
Can be ordered.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Beer on the tree match rebate program? All right, seeing none, I'd
Make a resolution, we approve the tree match program and the tree rebate program.
I'll second that.
have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Vice Mayor Martinez. Any further discussion? I just want to say, I hope the people take advantage of this. I know this is a good program. I think it's pretty unique to our area, that this is not offered everywhere, and why not?
For the trees we get for $25 are,
Nice tree.
yeah, they're unreal.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Next item agenda item is agenda item number 13, which is the 2017 Liberal Water Line Project. Mr. Cal.
How you doing? Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Commissioners. I'll try to contain my excitement, but we are getting closer and closer to get started on our water projects. Engineering's approved, we received the bids, and the staff is recommending that we accept a low bid submitted from King Enterprises for $1,671,247.62. And if you guys recommend that, then we need to submit it to KDHE, and I believe Alicia has all the documents that need to be signed, and then they will review all the bid specs, because using the SRF, we do have to, a lot of paperwork as far as from everything from American Steel, labor, and they'll have to submit it to KDHE, they'll approve it, and then we'll be ready to get started.
So, remind me, how many, was 140 miles of pipeline that we needed to replace?
There's a total of roughly 140, 160, I forget, we've done, do you remember, Mark, we got 200 and we've done 60?
Done 40.
40, so
Got
there's roughly.
160 left.
Yeah.
So this, when the people see that $6, this is where this fund's going to?
Yeah,
And-
actually, this one was one we've had in the works for about 2 years. It will be, and then that $6 fee will be one that will be accumulating so that we can do water projects hopefully on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
So it'll be, continuous rotation, and sooner or later we'll have all new water lines in the city of Liberal.
That's another thing, if it ain't got out there, that senior citizens can get a rebate if they make under a certain amount. And
Yes.
are under,
Which lines are we gonna
or
be
they're
replacing?
handicapped, you can get that credit from the
Yes.
sales tax.
Okay.
What's it?
We will be doing Hickory Street, which is going to be resurfaced, and that line is in bad shape. We want to get it done before they put the new street in there.
Okay.
We will be doing Kane Court. We'll be doing a section of 8th Street, a section of Ohio Street, a section on Clay. Clay, we kind of have to time with when they do the intersection, because we need to put the sleeves underneath as they're doing the intersection. And then we will be moving the line on Lilac Lane up by the country club. There will be 6 individual projects. And these were basically lines that we took Wally's expertise that he knew we'd been having the most trouble with, that we start with.
And clamps are starting to get back to back, aren't they?
We've got some that are clamped back to back.
Wow. All right, any further questions for Cal?
No.
All right, then I entertain a motion to approve the 2017 waterline project with King Enterprises, $1,671,247.62. I hear a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the 217 Liberal Water Project. With the figure, my screen went black.
$671,247.62.
That's with King Enterprises.
With King Enterprise.
Yep.
We have a
I'll second
motion-
that.
Motion by Vice Mayor Martinez, second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We
Cal.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Cal.
All right, next item up on the agenda will be the city manager's report. Mr. Hall.
Mayor, Commissioners, I'll try to do this respectfully, but would like to readdress this letter that you see before you. If you'll notice it does reference the City of Liberal's permit is the subject matter, a schedule of compliance, and a design submittal of deadlines. This is by KDHE. It is one of those, if you read through, it explains about our loan, that we're not going to use a large amount, and that's in the first paragraph. We still will use the loan on the interceptor line, which we have completed. If you look down in and understanding the memorandum, it does explain the date, space, and the paragraph, because they had not received national beefs yet. It is one of those, this is a document that they expected to show commitment to doing this plan, getting this plan done. If you look at it, also has communications, KDA and Mr. Andrew Hart, which is the engineer, HR Green, which is for national beef. And this can tell you that this subject is talking about the city and national beef. This is not to sit there and say any commitment has been done to plan. It does, in the next paragraph, explains what is required by the KDHE and what they expect to receive from HR Green. And that HR Green, Andrew Harsh, it's really Marsh, it is one of those that he asked for an extension to submit to KDHE. That's where he granted the 30 days, went to 45 days. That is not from the City of Liberal. That is from National Beef's engineering firm. If you turn over this, it tells that we understand, and what is going on is trying to negotiate and work with the plant, and it does explain that significant cost savings that the city realizes if we do a combined plant now. Commissioner Carlisle, you're aware of Joe Seeley having a discussion with you because the original was National Beef would pre-treat the water, so there would be 2 separate plants. You had that discussion,
We had that discussion with Joe Seeley, and you were present at that discussion.
It is one of those that
We were
later on-
talking about building our plant and then building their own $45 million plant.
And that has changed, and that was notified to commissioners, that now they want a combined treatment plant. We still have 80% of design that's sitting on the shelf from KDHE.
Mark, just, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. okay?
Well,
I
I'm gonna
understand that.
explain that-
But you sit there and said that you have notified me.
I
And if
have notified.
If I have missed a email or something, I would appreciate if you'd show it to me, because.
I'll be glad to.
Okay?
Because it is one of those, Commissioner, if you also look on this document was submitted, if you look back in there, there is a schedule of compliance. It is one of those, at some point, the city of Liberal will have to enter into an agreement with National Beef on the operation of this plant. It is one of those that they're seeking financing to determine that. Now, what possible ways can be done? And that has been a meeting in Wichita. But they do not know how they're going to finance it, nor do we. But we are not going to use the KDHE loan because it is a cost saving to us to go to outside market. It is, if you look on this, May 1 of 17, these are the things that KDHE expects to be in their office. If you look down here on number 4, it expects that this application and a new permit will be in 2019. The city is not committed to anything, and that will be subject to the commission in an open meeting, just like the SR or the KDHE loans. That has to be approved by the commission. Any lending, any borrowing done to finance this plant has to be done by the commission. It can't be done in closed session. This is an outline by KDHE to keep both parties moving to get this done. It is one of those, if you read and you go to, back to the letter, it is one of those, it's self-evident that this is a letter addressing H.R. Green not having their information in yet. The city has. And that is why on the MOU, it's a non-binding agreement, but says to KDHE, we want to have an understanding that both parties understand that this plant does not go any further unless you have a tentative commitment to financing it. That's the MOU, and it clearly explains that. It clearly explains that both parties understand it'll be a 70-30. They understand that they will pay 100% for the irrigation portion of the project. They also understand, if you read in that, that they are paid 100% of H.R. Green's engineering. That is to understand. It doesn't bind them and doesn't bind us, but KDHE expects that. And that's what clearly the memorandum of understanding. It's not a committal contract. It's nothing can be based on it. It is an understanding to KDHE that both parties are committed. And that explains that. So I just want to be clear on that this isn't something behind closed doors. This is meeting with engineers and staff in KDHE, and our meetings with KDHE are all in Topeka. So, as far as a question and as far as the commission, anytime KDHE has had a wastewater where we had to make a decision, which was on that loan, which we have now turned back to them, that portion, that was in an open meeting and it was approved by the commission. I can't obligate the city. I have no power, I have no vote. And it is one of those that this is something that will always be the commission, that will always address, because there will be agreement required under the operation of the permit. And that will have to be a commission's decision.
I obviously can't obligate the city. I don't care, I can sign that document 25 times. It's a memorandum of understanding. I don't think anybody else has the knowledge to be able to sign that document. I think that's part of the reason I've been included on all of this is from the beginning, is so somebody is up to speed. And I don't know what each one of you know. I rely on Mark to relay what's going on, and I'm thinking he has. I've got the emails, and everybody is included on the emails. So.
What I understood, I went down there, but I asked. And that's all you gotta do, ask the questions. If I don't understand, I don't know, I'd rely on you guys that have been there for a while, so.
Well, if I was obligating the the city to something, I could see somebody being upset because I would be upset if somebody had the authority to do that. Even Mark, if he had the authority to do that by himself, but he doesn't. And it clearly states that in the memorandum of understanding. It's non-committal and it's non-binding.
Okay. Anything else, Mark?
I just want to thank staff for all that you're doing in the public. I appreciate it. They had a chore today and involved a couple different departments, but we had some court records that needed to be moved, and I thought it'd take a lot less time, but it was a bigger project than I had thought. And I appreciate both the parks and the police department, but street department and all that, getting that done for court. But it is one of those, we're winding down. I think it's been in the newspaper, but I believe on the pool, we're just open on the weekends. Is that right, Matt? It is one of those, it's been a good year. We've got through it, the pumps and this stuff. There's certain things we will check and make sure we're ready for next year. But all in all, pool had a good year and the parks look beautiful and staff still has more projects to come. I know we were looking at finishing Kansas Avenue and going out, and then also Mary Frame Park. And then, and Daniel's nodding his head, the soccer fields. It is one of those, I appreciate all that they do. That'll be a great statement. And have the bases been put in yet, or they're coming?
Yeah, they were back ordered, and then all the rain we had, so that's kind of delayed us.
But it'll be a
Shortly.
beautiful project and something you all will be proud of. But other than that, thank you, staff, for all you do.
Questions for the city manager?
I got one, I don't know for Danny or you. With this heat that we had in June and July, we buckled some sidewalks. One is down there on North Clay, about a block north of 2nd Street, right next to the street. I don't know whose responsibility to fix that, but if it doesn't get fixed, a lot of moisture is going to get in there up underneath Clay Street, and we're going to bust out Clay Street when it freezes, and going to cost us more money to fix Clay Street than it would be to fix the sidewalk.
Right, and we've been having a lot of problems with that. And if you drive down 7th Street, we started over there on Calhoun by Joe's house, and we've been.
Of course you had to say that, right?
We don't want you to fall there the whole time.
We have replaced probably about 6 sections, 6 different places, and we're working on it. And today they opened Clay and 7th Street. It's doing the same thing. So we've been working on it. And then we had some other sidewalks that give up like that. They've been addressed to us and we fixed them. There was one on 2nd Street in Western, and then another couple in Blue Water Park, and we all been fixed, but we're working on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you've had several, I think I came home from church and there was like cement everywhere.
Yeah.
East of my house, about half a block, and you guys were right on it and then have pretty much steadily worked your way to the east right there at McKinley now. I thought it was a speed bump from McKinley, but then I remember they're no longer a school, so, but anyway, yeah, they're definitely been out there by 7 and stay until right at quitting time.
Yeah, so we're working on it.
Okay, thanks.
Right, any other questions for the city manager? Let's, items from commissioners. We'll start with Commissioner Aragon.
Just like to thank the staff. I know you guys all working hard and doing a great job, and appreciate the chief's kind words. That's good. I think you all do all the work and behind the scenes and deserve a lot of credit, so thank you very much. That's all I have.
Commissioner Carlisle.
Thanks to staff, really. Thank you, Al. Okay.
Commissioner Harrison.
I'd just like to thank Chris and everybody that worked on the budgets diligently and put it together, made it easy, like Dean, I think it was, said, for us to understand. It's my 10th budget, I think, and every year there's questions that I have, and once you explain it, it makes it a little easier to understand. But It's a challenging situation. I don't know if the new candidates know, some of them probably do, but the budget for next year is already set. So you're kind of going to be bound by what we've decided already. And hopefully that's the best thing for the taxpayers. Other than that, Daniel, your guys just blow me away, and Brad's guys too. How much you guys get done, just amazing. And appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Martinez.
I want to kind of echo what the chief said, and Ellie, I want you to put this down. When I ran for a commissioner, 2015, everybody wanted economic growth and keep the taxes down low. I think we've accomplished that. Things are growing. Maybe we don't got industry like we want, but we're trying. And then to the new commissioners out there, the possible candidates, or you are the possible new ones. There's going to be 3 of you guys new ones. And I'm going to tell you, I had a misconception how the sales tax worked. After I get in there, there's certain things you can do legally and what piece of pie that comes out of. So even I probably misstated myself. But now, after 3 times, the first one was in my hands. 2 years, you guys, I'm sitting here 2.5 years, and I'm just barely grasping what's going on. So it's going to be a learning experience. It's a lot different than you think, and I'll work with you guys, and I appreciate you running. So another thing I think is Mark Hall is our only employee of these people right here. We do not always agree with what he says, but I will go down and ask and find out. But as far as calling me a lame duck commissioner and I got 2.5 years left, that's all right. But I don't know, it's just a whole different, what Dave probably said it best when I came on. He says, welcome to the real world. Well, what world was I living in? But it was a different world. And I don't think we'll find a harder working man. I don't like a liar or a thief. And this man has never lied to me. And he's always, I don't see no backdoor deals or nothing. He works with staff. Our city's in good shape. We're in the black. So what do you want? What do these people want out there? I don't understand. You know, we're doing what we're asked. Our parks are beautiful. Our town is in good shape. I don't understand. So maybe it's just because somebody's been told no about something. I don't know. But I'll support. I thank these 2 guys for throwing their names out there. And me and Jack are going to be left to lead this new guys in there. And appreciate you guys throwing your names in there. So that's all I got to say. Thank you, staff, as always. I think you do a good job.
I do kind of want to build on what Vice Mayor Martinez said. It's an exciting job. You can make a difference. In the 12, almost 13 years that I've served, we've seen the town go from almost financial ruin with the Trailmobile debt, borrowing money because we could not take the money out of the housing program to pay the Trailmobile debt, to city staff coming up with the 0.4% sales tax to pay off that debt so we could move this town forward. It's been a privilege to be a part of the projects that have been presented to us, from rec projects to street projects to infrastructure projects. To the 3 that do get on, it is a learning process, but it is an exciting time in your lives. You will come under the microscope. You will, your phones will ring. But if you have done your homework and you've asked the questions, and if you've made decisions from the heart, you're never going to make a bad decision. Now, other people may think so, but if you can walk away from every decision with your head held high, knowing that you have done the best that you could possibly do, you are going to be a good commissioner. I encourage you to continue to show up at the meetings, watch the meetings, and do your research, because there's going to be 3 new faces up here. And these two guys aren't going to have all the answers. So you're going to have to be able to hit the ground running as fast as you can, knowing that you're going to have to learn as fast as you can. But again, thank you to the 13 that ran. And to the 6, I wish you the best of luck. And just continue to push and to make this community the best that it could possibly be. But if you've ever had a complaint and you do nothing about it, then you're just a complainer. You're not going to be a problem solver. So just do the best you can. That's all anybody asks, is that you do the best that you can.
Can I say something?
Sure.
To the new candidates que van for commissioners, I've been with the city 30 years, and I've been through many city managers. And it comes from my heart to say that this man over here cares for the community, he cares for his people, he cares for everything that's going on in the city. And I don't see why all these people out there that are doing all this stuff are talking about him. If you want to know him, please come and talk to him, and come to know him before you say anything. And once you come to know him, you're going to think different. Because it's been 30 years that I've been in the city. Like I said, many city managers, and this is the one that I know cares for the community, for the employees, for the taxpayers, for everything that is good for the community. So, when you commissioners, come talk to him and come to know him.
Well, and a good testament of any person or any boss is to ask the people that work underneath him. And I think that's the best judge of character right there, is how he treats, whether it's his family or his employees. That's a testament of character there. Do want to clear up, City Manager Hall has never been the finance director. Started with the city as HR director. When I got on the commission, he was HR.
Well, said it in the paper he was.
And then he moved from there. I'm not entering that fight. I'm just stating that from there to the assistant city manager, which came under, I believe, Doug has gone home, but Doug, Ronnie, myself, Charlie, and John were on the commission at the time when he became the assistant city manager. And then from there was elevated to the city manager's position. But anyway.
I had no involvement with Trammell.
Right. Yeah, that was prior to Mark. For those that are here.
What was that?
I had no involvement with Trammellville.
For those that are here, I do want to remind the commission, August the 16th, we will be having a joint city, county, school board. College has been invited, kind of a brainstorming work session that is open to the public. It'll be held at 5:30? 6 o'clock at the county commission chambers upstairs, and that is open to the public. Whoever would like to come in and sit in on that meeting. But we do have those. I think the college has not been involved in very many, but they've always been invited. So August the 16th, 6 o'clock, upstairs in the county commission chambers. I want to thank the police department for National Night Out. Wow. Fabulous event. The entire, I think of the 22,000 that we have living here, you had 19.5 there. It was a busy night. Thank National Beef, Seaboard Foods, everybody that was involved.
Good job.
Yeah.
Didn't save me one. I got a hot dog and a snow cone.
But it was a fabulous event. I hope it continues. 15th Street looks exceptionally well. The striping just makes it pop. I hope we have chained those guys to a post somewhere to keep them here and finish some more striping. But I know as time allows, we're going to be looking at Western and 54 and 7th and Western. I believe it needs some attention. 2nd and Kansas, going to be hitting some of those areas. But with school starting, I know the crosswalks are going to be an important priority as well. But the striping just makes 15th Street look that much better. So thank those guys. And again, I just want to express my continued disappointment in Pen Air. Of course, with the news that Pen Air has filed bankruptcy and will no longer be servicing not only Nebraska, but Dodge City and Liberal as well. I know city staff is feverishly working to get another air carrier in here. Penn Air has committed to staying here until another provider has been found. But I know we're doing everything we can to keep air service here in Liberal. So again, thank you to city staff. Thank you to the crews, road crews who have come out on weekends to take care of things when one of us have called. So thank you to the city staff. And the finance department, to the city managers and every employee that help keep expenses down so that we do not have to raise taxes. We can hold a flat mill levy. We're just a small piece of that pie. Like I said, city was 6 million, county was 11 million. They had to raise their mill levies just to make ends meet. So our staff does a great job of keeping expenses down and keeping services exceptional. So thank you to city staff. That is all I have. I guess, yeah, it's not 8 o'clock yet. We got time. Anybody else want to say? No, just kidding. Shirla? City attorney comments, you're good? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the vouchers.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,906,082.81.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Aragon, a second by Vice Mayor Martinez. Any discussion on the vouchers? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Real quickly, Fairgrounds Lane, it looks like it has been completed. Just waiting for it to settle, and then they're going to seal it after the fair, correct?
Yeah, it'll probably be at the middle of September when they're gonna come.
Right. I think county approved.
Just out of curiosity, how come we didn't go all the way to the wall?
That's drainage, isn't it?
I talked to him the other day, he's gonna do some more blades in there and dress that up.
Okay.
Plus,
Yeah.
there is a drain right underneath that, too.
Yeah.
Runs through
Underneath
there.
the wall?
Yeah.
No, right underneath, right next to the wall, right underneath.
The city put a drain, the county put a drain in up underneath there. That's why I was wondering how come we didn't just go ahead and push it all the way to the wall, because drainage is already there.
Yeah, you talked to Tony, he's going to finish dressing that up.
I had the same question, why didn't you just go up to the wall?
Yeah.
He said he's gonna dress that up and recut that.
Okay. All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.